Welcome back to the channel, World Coins Master, where we uncover the fascinating world of rare and valuable US coins that might just be hiding in your pocket change right now. Today's episode dives deep into one of the most talked about and extraordinary coins ever discovered, the 1988 Roosevelt dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents, but one that some claim has fetched values as high as $9 million. That's right, $0.10 turning into a staggering multi-million-dollar collector's dream. How could such a small coin, so ordinary on the surface, command such an astronomical price? The answer lies buried in its minting errors, mysterious history, and the hidden traits that make it one of the most elusive treasures in modern American coinage. Now imagine this: you're going through your change jar, sorting through everyday coins, quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies. Suddenly, you spot something slightly different. A dime that catches your eye, not because of its shine or wear, but because something seems off. Maybe it's the way the mint mark is positioned, or perhaps the texture of the metal feels different in your hand. That could be the moment you stumble upon a coin worth more than a luxury sports car, more than a down payment on a mansion, worth more than what most people make in a lifetime. That could be your moment of fortune, and today, we're going to explore every detail about how that moment could happen to you. The 1988 Roosevelt dime is not just a coin, it's a mystery, a story, a symbol of how even the tiniest oversight at the US Mint can lead to a coin that becomes the obsession of collectors and historians alike. This dime was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark just above the date on the coin's obverse. But not all 1988 D dimes are created equal. While hundreds of millions were produced, only a handful are known, or even rumored, to contain the right combination of errors, die varieties, and striking anomalies to make them astronomically valuable. Let's talk about those errors. Because when we say errors, we're not just talking about a simple scratch or wear from circulation. We're talking about high-grade, rare, and often completely unexpected mistakes that occurred during the minting process. Things like double strikes, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, repunched mint marks, transitional design varieties, and more. The 1988 D dime has reportedly been found with some of the most baffling combinations of these anomalies, making it one of the most collectible and mysterious coins in modern American numismatics. One of the most discussed and sought-after error types in the 1988 D dime is the double die obverse. A double die occurs when the coin die, the steel tool that strikes the design into the blank coin, is engraved incorrectly, resulting in a coin where certain parts of the design appear doubled. On some 1988 D dimes, collectors have reported doubling on key features such as the word Liberty, Roosevelt's I, the initials JS for designer John Sinek, and even the motto, In God We Trust. These doubled details are subtle, but to trained eyes, they stand out, and they multiply the coin's value significantly. But perhaps even more intriguing than the doubled die are rumors of the rare transitional design error. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck with the wrong die, often from a different year or design. In some extreme cases, coins have even been struck on planchets intended for other denominations or foreign coins. It's been claimed that a tiny number of 1988 D dimes may have been struck using reverse dies intended for a different year, possibly 1989 or earlier Roosevelt designs, creating a hybrid coin that shouldn't exist. These errors are exceedingly rare because they typically only happen during periods of transition between die designs or metal compositions. They are caught early in the minting process, except sometimes they slip through unnoticed, and those are the coins that become legends. Now let's talk about the mint mark itself, the tiny letter D beneath the date, which signifies that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. On the vast majority of 1988 D dimes, this mint mark is cleanly struck and properly placed. But a small number of coins have surfaced where the D mint mark appears repunched, misplaced, or even missing altogether. A repunched mint mark, or RPM, is when the mint mark was punched into the die more than once, resulting in a shadow or doubling effect. These RPMs can be very valuable, especially when they are dramatic or well-defined. Even more shocking are reports of 1988 dimes without any mint mark, raising questions about whether they were misclassified and struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically did not use a mint mark at the time, or whether the mint mark simply didn't strike properly. Another possible and incredible error involves misstruck planchets, where a coin is struck on the wrong type of blank metal disc. This can include dimes struck on cent planchets, foreign planchets, or even on experimental metal compositions that were never intended for circulation. When these errors occur, the result is a coin that doesn't weigh the same as a normal dime, may appear off in color, and might even have a different metallic ring when dropped on a surface. These planchet errors are exceptionally rare, but they do exist, and a few known examples from the 1980s have sold for thousands, even tens of thousands, at auction. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in its value. Collectors and grading services like PCGS and NGC look at factors such as luster, strike sharpness, and the presence or absence of contact marks to assign a grade, typically on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS67 or MS68 is considered extremely high quality, almost perfect, and the price can skyrocket accordingly. If an era coin from 1988D is found in such pristine condition, its value multiplies exponentially. Imagine a mint-era coin with a repunched mint mark, struck on the wrong planchet, with full luster and barely a scratch. This is the kind of coin that auction houses fight to acquire, and it's where values in the millions start to become plausible. But why would anyone pay millions for such a coin? The answer lies in the psychology and passion of collectors. For serious numismatists, owning a unique or ultra-rare coin is like owning a piece of American history. It's about prestige, rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. The U.S. Mint has been producing coins for centuries, and in that time, countless errors have slipped through, but very few have the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and mystery that the 1988D dime does. There are collectors out there with the means and the motivation to pay millions just to add that final, impossible piece to their collection. Some examples of sales and valuations also help us understand how this particular coin gained such mythical status. While no single 1988D dime has been officially recorded to sell for exactly $9 million, it is not uncommon for rare era coins, especially from the 20th century, to command prices in the hundreds of thousands or more. Rumors circulate in private collector communities about private sales involving elite collections. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have seen Roosevelt dimes with rare errors sell for upwards of 5 to 6 figures, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. These sales are often private, with final amounts undisclosed, fueling the speculation that coins like the 1988D era dime could fetch prices much higher than the public ever hears about. It's also important to understand how coins like the 1988D era dime get discovered. Sometimes it's through meticulous coin roll hunting, where collectors search through rolls of dimes purchased from banks, looking for outliers. Sometimes it's from estate sales, where a forgotten collection surfaces after decades. And sometimes, it's purely by accident, an untrained eye spotting something odd and bringing it to a local coin dealer, only to discover they've been holding a treasure all along. This kind of story isn't fantasy. It's happened before, and it could happen again. Collectors are also fascinated by the historical context of the year 1988. It was a transitional period in U.S. minting standards, with updates to machinery, engraving methods, and quality control processes. Such periods of change often lead to a higher frequency of errors, particularly in the early months of the year when new dies are being tested or when leftover materials from previous years are mistakenly used. The Denver Mint was particularly active during this time, producing billions of coins across multiple denominations. With such high volume, the opportunity for rare, unintentional creations increases, and the chances of a legendary coin like the 1988D era dime slipping through the cracks becomes very real. Let's imagine what such a coin might look like. A dime with strong doubling on the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust. A clearly repunched or misaligned D mint mark, possibly a reverse design that doesn't match the obverse year, and an unusual weight or coloration suggesting an off-metal planchet. Now put all of that in a coin that is nearly uncirculated, brilliant in luster, and confirmed by a reputable grading agency as authentic. That's not just a coin, that's a multimillion-dollar anomaly. The hunt for these coins continues every day. Online forums, Facebook groups, YouTube channels, and auction listings are filled with amateur and professional collectors alike, comparing notes, sharing finds, and chasing rumors. Each one hoping they're the lucky person to find the next 1988D dime that makes headlines. Because the truth is, we still don't know how many of these incredible coins exist. Maybe a dozen. Maybe fewer. Some may still be sitting in change jars. Today, we're going to take you on an incredible journey through the story of one very unexpected piece of U.S. currency, A 2006p Roosevelt dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents, yet carrying a staggering estimated value of over $6 million in the numismatic market. That's right. We're talking about a coin that most Americans have probably handled at some point without giving it a second thought. It's the 2006 Roosevelt dime minted in Philadelphia, marked with a P mint mark. On the surface, there seems to be nothing special about it. Millions upon millions were produced. But buried among those ordinary dimes are a few select pieces, extremely rare, wildly misprinted, full of mysterious features and fascinating minting anomalies, that have captured the attention of collectors, auction houses, and historians alike. These are the kinds of coins that can make headlines, break records, and change lives overnight. So what exactly makes one of these dimes worth more than a luxury home? How can a small, everyday coin be transformed into a multimillion-dollar treasure? The answer lies in the unique combination of errors, imperfections, and extremely rare characteristics that were never meant to leave the U.S. Mint. And we're not just talking about minor blemishes or standard double strikes. We're talking about profound production mistakes, mismatched planchets, rotated dies, missing mint marks, doubled dies, off-center strikes, edge reading anomalies, and combinations of these all showing up on a single dime. These are the types of errors that coin collectors dream about, the numismatic equivalent of a once-in-a-generation discovery. Now, before we get into the specific errors that have been identified on the 2006p dime, let's take a moment to appreciate just how massive the production run was that year. In 2006, the U.S. Mint produced over 1.2 billion Roosevelt dimes between the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. More than 774 million of those were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. With such high production volume, the chance of error increases. The Mint's machines were working at incredible speeds, pushing out hundreds of coins per minute, and while the Mint does enforce quality control standards, the sheer pressure of production means that some mistakes inevitably slip through the cracks. And it's precisely those few mistakes, those scarce error coins, that are worth the real money. Among the coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 2006, there have been documented reports of some with drastic minting errors that instantly make them standout specimens. These coins, if confirmed authentic and in high-grade condition, can command prices far beyond what anyone would expect for a modern 10-cent piece. So what types of errors are we talking about? One of the most significant and valuable issues identified on 2006p Roosevelt dimes involves the absence or misplacement of the mint mark. The P mint mark, denoting the Philadelphia Mint, is supposed to be clearly visible on the obverse of the coin, just above the date. But in some rare cases, coins have surfaced that either lack the mint mark entirely or display it in an unusual position, either doubled, partially impressed, or misaligned. Missing mint marks are highly unusual for modern coins because the mint mark is no longer hand-punched but part of the master die itself. Therefore, a missing mint mark points to a very specific and rare error in the die-making process, or a misfeed in the striking phase. Another category of extremely valuable error involves double die obverse and reverses. This occurs when the coin die shifts slightly between impressions from the hub, leading to doubled images of the text, date, or even Roosevelt's profile. Such doubled dies are often subtle but can be dramatically visible under magnification. Collectors go wild for strong doubled dies, and certain varieties can skyrocket a coin's value, especially if they are prominently visible to the naked eye. And then there are off-center strikes, where the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly seated in the press, causing the design to be struck off-center. Some of the most desirable error coins are those where more than 50% of the design is still visible despite being significantly off-center. These errors, particularly on modern dimes, are much rarer than they were in earlier decades due to improved quality control at the mints, which is why a 2006p dime with a dramatic off-center strike is incredibly desirable. We must also discuss planchet errors. Imagine a Roosevelt dime struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, such as a pennies copper zinc blend or even a foreign coin blank accidentally fed into the press. These mismatched planchets produce coins that not only look different in color or weight but also ring differently when dropped, making them easier to identify if you know what you're looking, or listening, for. Coins struck on the wrong planchet are among the rarest and most coveted by error collectors, and some 2006p dimes exhibit die clash marks, when dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of the design elements from one side of the coin onto the other. It's like seeing Roosevelt's head subtly appearing on the torch or leaves of the reverse design. These clash marks are haunting and beautiful and a clear sign of minting mishap. But it doesn't stop there. Some reports even describe 2006p dimes with rotated dies, where the obverse and reverse designs do not align correctly, sometimes being rotated as much as 90 degrees from each other. Rotate such a coin between your fingers and instead of the reverse appearing upright, it's tilted or upside down. These types of coins stand out instantly during casual inspection and are well-known indicators of mechanical error during striking. There are even coins that combine two or more of these errors, making them unbelievably rare. Imagine a 2006p Roosevelt dime that is off-center, missing its mint mark, and struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination. That kind of triple error coin is practically one of a kind and exactly the sort of thing that would spark a bidding war at auction or among elite collectors. But one might ask, how do these coins reach the market if they're so flawed? Shouldn't the mint catch them before they go out into circulation? In theory, yes. But in practice, when millions of coins are being produced daily, some manage to escape detection. Sometimes these coins are caught in bags or rolls, missed by automated sensors or human inspectors. Other times, employees at the mint may accidentally, or in rare cases, even deliberately, allow error coins to slip out, though the latter is illegal and highly scrutinized. And then there's the human element: collectors, hobbyists, even ordinary folks examining their change and stumbling across something that looks a little off. That's how many great discoveries happen. Somebody notices a dime with a strange shine or weight. Someone else spots that the mint mark isn't there. Another person, out of simple curiosity, posts a photo online, and suddenly the coin goes viral. Now, when it comes to the $6 million valuation, this isn't about every 2006p dime being worth a fortune. It's about the ultra-rare ones, the singular specimens that represent the pinnacle of minting errors, preserved in near-perfect condition, and authenticated by top grading agencies. These are the coins that collectors dream about, the ones that become the centerpiece of a collection or the headline of a major auction.